Post 1. Am I the jerk for wanting my wife to honor our 20-year marriage? Posted 2. R/surviving infidelity. I don't even know how to start this. I guess I'm just looking for advice from people who've been through something similar and can help me figure out what to do. My wife won't talk to me, and I don't want to lose everything we've built over the last 2 decades. We were celebrating our 20-year anniversary. Our kids are older now, things have been stable for a while, and my wife wanted to do a vow renewal. We rented a hall, had family and friends come in from out of town, and my wife planned the whole thing beautifully. I admit I wasn't always the most engaged in the planning, but I never said I didn't want to do it. I figured after everything we've been through, it was a good idea to celebrate our love and reaffirm things. But right before we could exchange vows, someone walked in. It was Kelsey. She's been a friend of my wife's for years. They used to work together a while back and stayed in touch loosely. Last year, my wife asked if I could help Kelsey get settled in a job where I work. I did. I didn't think it was a big deal. She was struggling financially, and I had some pull with the hiring manager. So yeah, I vouched for her. Kelsey walked in holding a baby, supposedly our baby. She stood right up in the middle of the ceremony and said she had something to say before the vows. And then she pulled out her phone and just started shoving it into attendees' faces. I didn't see them, but I found out later the pictures were intimate candids of us that I hadn't realized she was taking. Me in the shower, us laying in bed together, one of me holding her stomach when she was pregnant. I don't even know how many she had. I couldn't even look up. My wife was crying, my kids were just staring, and Kelsey just stood there holding the baby like it was some kind of mic drop. Everyone left. There was no ceremony, no dinner, just silence, and then chaos. I tried to follow my wife, but she slammed the car door in my face and drove off with our daughter. Since then, I've been staying at Kelsey's place. I'm only doing it because I don't have a choice. I'm sleeping in her bed, which is uncomfortable in every possible way. I would rather be at home. I've told her that, but my wife won't answer my calls, and Kelsey says I can't stay as a friend when I'm the father of her child. So now I'm stuck living like I'm in a relationship I never wanted. The affair started about a year and a half ago. It was a mistake. Kelsey pursued me, not the other way around. She was always too flirty, and I should have shut it down, but she'd corner me in the break room, ask for help on projects, call me late at night about work stuff, and then one night we hooked up. After that, she kept threatening to tell my wife if I didn't keep seeing her. I wanted to end it. I really did. But every time I tried, she'd cry or say she was going to message my wife or threaten to get me fired. And then she got pregnant, and that just complicated everything. But I never stopped loving my wife. I still don't. I've told Kelsey that 100 times. She says it doesn't matter, she has my child, and that means I'm hers now. I don't want to lose my family. I know I messed up, but can't my wife see the big picture? We had 20 good years. We have children, a home, memories, and now she's just throwing it all away over one mistake? I didn't even invite Kelsey. I had no idea she would do that. It wasn't my plan. So I guess I'm just asking, how do I fix this? How do I get my wife to talk to me? Is there a way forward? I'm not trying to be the bad guy here. I just want my wife to understand that what we had is worth more than whatever Kelsey showed her. Post 2, update, she still won't talk to me. So here's the full story. Okay, since everyone seems to think I deserve everything I got based on one post where I was trying to keep things civil, let me just lay out what actually happened. I'm not proud of everything, but I'm also not going to let people rewrite the past just because they want a clean-cut bad guy. The affair didn't just happen. It wasn't like I was prowling around behind my wife's back looking for a side piece. Kelsey came after me. Hard. And I know some people are going to roll their eyes and say I'm deflecting blame, but you weren't there. You didn't see how she acted. It started after I got her the job. As I mentioned, my wife asked me to help her out because they were friends back in the day. I figured she'd just come in, do her job, and go home. But no, Kelsey was always hanging around my office, asking for help with spreadsheets, coming by even when I had no meeting scheduled with her. She'd laugh too hard at my jokes, touch my arm for no reason, tell me how cool and successful I was. that I didn't seem like the kind of guy who still worked for someone else, that I had real boss energy. I'll admit, I liked the attention. Who wouldn't? It had been a long time since someone looked at me like that, and yeah, I let it go too far. But part of the problem was that she thought I was rich. Not that I told her that directly, but I get it. I have nice stuff. A new car, decent clothes. We live in a beautiful home. But what Kelsey didn't realize is that most of that isn't really mine. The car, leased, the house, technically owned by my father-in-law. The company we work for, also owned by him. I have a good title, but he's the one with the real power. I don't think Kelsey ever fully got that. She used to joke that I was a silver fox and that I probably had millions hidden somewhere. I laughed it off, but I guess she believed it or wanted to. She'd drop hints about wanting to settle down, about how she didn't believe in traditional marriage, how love was about passion, not legalities. And the more I tried to create distance, the more she escalated. Late night calls, accidental run-ins at lunch. One time she showed up at my gym, acting like it was a coincidence. It wasn't. Eventually, things crossed a line. It was after an office happy hour. She caught me alone in the parking lot, crying about how I was the only one who treated her like a person, and then kissed me. I should have walked away, I know that now, but I was tired. Tired of being seen as just a provider. Tired of feeling like a background character in my own life. And Kelsey made me feel seen, I guess. After that, it became hard to stop. She started threatening to tell my wife if I backed off. She'd say things like, "Your wife doesn't appreciate you the way I do," or "She doesn't even know who you really are." It was like blackmail, emotional and otherwise. I kept thinking I'd find the right moment to end it, but every time I pulled away, she'd get more clingy. Then she got pregnant, and that was it, game over. I told her I wasn't leaving my wife. I told her this was never supposed to be anything permanent. She acted like she understood, but clearly she didn't. I never imagined she would go nuclear and show up at our vow renewal. I still don't get why she thought that was going to work in her favor. But whatever, I've explained my side now. I didn't want this. I didn't plan this. I'm just a guy who made some mistakes and got taken advantage of by someone who saw dollar signs and status. If anything, I'm the one paying for all of it now. Post 3. Update. My father-in-law fired me. So, I guess I'm unemployed now. Yesterday, I got called into the office for what was supposed to be a formal meeting with HR and my father-in-law. I honestly thought it was going to be about smoothing things over after the vow renewal incident. You know, reassuring clients, getting everyone back on the same page. Instead, I walk in and there's this ridiculous stack of papers on the table, like they're prepping for a trial. They said it was an internal review into my conduct at the company. And by internal review, I mean they just let my father-in-law rant about my poor judgment and lack of professionalism, while the HR rep nodded along like one of those bobblehead dolls. I asked for specific examples of what I'd supposedly done wrong. And do you know what he said? That I compromised the company's reputation by openly fraternizing with a subordinate. Excuse me? Kelsey and I never openly fraternized. We were discreet. The only reason anyone even knows is because she decided to drag her personal life into my wife's vow renewal. That has nothing to do with my ability to do my job. They didn't even give me a chance to defend myself. Just slid the termination papers across the table and told me to hand in my key card. My father-in-law even had the nerve to smirk while he said he'd consider not contesting my unemployment benefits if I made things easier for everyone and didn't fight it, which is basically admitting he knows this is personal, not professional. So now I'm back at Kelsey's place full-time. And let me tell you, this is a major downgrade. No guest room, no home office. I'm sleeping in her cramped little bedroom with a view of the parking lot, and she's acting like this is some big romantic milestone for us. She made pancakes this morning to celebrate our first official day living together. I told her there's nothing to celebrate, this isn't where I'm supposed to be, but she just laughed like I was joking. For the record, I still want to be at home with my wife. That's where my life is. Kelsey knows that. She's just, I don't know, in her own world. And now, without my job, I'm stuck here until I figure out my next move. I keep thinking my wife will eventually come to her senses, especially now that she knows Kelsey basically cost me my career. I mean, we've been married 20 years. You don't just throw that away over something like this. But for now, I guess I'm unemployed, stuck in this shoebox apartment, and living off takeout and Kelsey's comfort meals. This is not how I pictured my week going. Post 4, update, people need to mind their own business. So apparently I'm trending. I didn't even know this was happening until one of my old coworkers texted me a link to some Facebook post. Someone from the vow renewal, still don't know who, but I have my suspicions, posted a picture of me and Kelsey standing outside the venue that night, her holding the baby, with some long caption about the truth always coming out. Now everyone and their mother thinks they're entitled to chime in on my marriage. I've gotten emails, DMs, even voicemails from random people telling me I got what I deserved, or that I should be grateful she didn't clean me out completely. Complete strangers are calling me a homewrecker, like they have any idea what actually happened. Half of these people don't even know me, and the ones that do are acting like I'm some kind of monster who hunted down an innocent woman. For the last time, Kelsey pursued me. She made the first move. She was the one showing up to my office in tight dresses, leaning over my desk, touching my arm, by accident. And I'll admit, yes, I let things go too far, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like she wasn't relentless about it. What makes me laugh is how self-righteous everyone's being now. I've seen some of the same people who are trashing me online hop from one relationship to another like it's a hobby. But apparently when I make one mistake, I'm the devil incarnate. Kelsey's eating this all up, by the way. She keeps scrolling through the comments and laughing at the ones that insult my wife, saying stuff like, "Oh, see? People get us." No, Kelsey, people don't get us. Most of these comments are calling both of us trash, if you actually read them. And the cherry on top? My wife's not saying a word publicly, nothing, which just makes it easier for everyone to assume she's the victim and I'm the bad guy. If she actually spoke up and said it wasn't that black and white, maybe people would stop piling on. But no, apparently silence is her strategy now. Post 5, update, my wife is freezing me out, literally. I woke up this morning to find out my debit card doesn't work. At first I thought maybe it was just a glitch with the bank, so I called them. Nope. Turns out my wife went in yesterday afternoon and had my name removed from all the joint accounts. Every single one. Savings, checking, even the credit cards. The guy on the phone said, "Sir, you'll need to speak with your wife to resolve this." Like I was some kid who needs permission to get his allowance. Do people not realize that half of that money is mine? We've been married 20 years. 20. You don't just freeze your husband out of his own finances because you're upset. That's not how adults handle problems. Now I'm stuck using the little bit of cash I had in my wallet, and Kelsey's acting like it's hilarious. She offered to cover me until this blows over, which is exactly what I didn't want, being dependent on her. I don't want to feel like I need her. I'd rather be home with my wife, where things are stable and familiar, but right now I can't even afford gas without Kelsey swiping her card. And she's loving it. She's been ordering takeout, buying clothes online, talking about us getting a new couch for her apartment, like this is some big happy domestic setup. I've told her over and over that this isn't permanent, that I just need time to make my wife see reason, but she just nods like she knows something I don't. I tried calling my wife to ask her what the hell she thinks she's doing, and she didn't answer. Not the house phone, not her cell. Straight to voicemail. People keep saying in the comments that this is what I signed up for. No, it's not. I signed up for a partnership, and you don't throw away 2 decades over something that was never supposed to mean anything. I've got half a mind to just show up at her work and talk to her in person, but apparently that's harassment now, according to the peanut gallery. So I'm trying to be patient, but it's getting harder. Post 6, tried to talk to my wife at work. Now everyone's overreacting. All right, so apparently I'm public enemy number 1 now. I couldn't take it anymore, the silence, the blocked calls, the way she's pretending I don't exist. So I went to her office during lunch. I figured she'd be less guarded face to face, maybe actually listen instead of hanging up on me. When I got there, I asked the receptionist to let her know I was here. The receptionist looked like I just handed her a live grenade. She said, "Sir, I'll have to check if she's available," and picked up the phone like she was calling 911. 5 minutes later, my wife came out, but she wouldn't even step into the lobby. She just stood in the doorway with her arms crossed and said, "You shouldn't be here." I told her we needed to talk about our marriage, about the accounts, about her dad getting involved in our personal business. I even said I'd come home that night, no questions asked, if she'd just tell her father to back off. She said, "Go home. Kelsey's home," like it was some kind of insult. Then she turned to walk away. So yeah, I followed her into the hallway. I wasn't yelling, but I was trying to make her understand that we have 20 years together and she's throwing it all away over nothing. People started looking over, and one guy in a suit muttered something under his breath. I couldn't catch it, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't "hang in there, buddy." Next thing I know, two security guards show up. They tell me I have to leave immediately or they'll escort me. I told them I'm her husband. I have a right to talk to her, but apparently that doesn't mean anything anymore. They each took an arm, totally unnecessary, and walked me out like I'd committed a crime. People in the lobby were staring. Someone even pulled out their phone, so I'm sure that's online somewhere now, completely out of context. I texted her afterward, saying I was willing to work through this if she was, but all I got back was, "Don't ever show up here again." So now I'm the bad guy for trying to save my marriage. Fantastic. Post 7, public backlash. The fallout has been worse than I expected. A few people from work, probably Kelsey's little group of friends, are gossiping, and word has made it to some mutual acquaintances. My own adult children from my first marriage aren't speaking to me. They didn't even wait to hear my side, they just cut me off completely. It's insane how quickly people will judge you without knowing the full picture. Nobody saw how manipulative Kelsey was. Nobody saw the way she cornered me. It's easier for everyone to just paint me as this cartoon cheater instead of a man who made one misstep because someone took advantage. Meanwhile, Kelsey is showing off pictures of us together at family barbecues, office parties, even selfies from my car. It's invasive. Yes, we were together in those moments, but her parading it around like some trophy is humiliating. I don't even want to be with her. I just want my wife back. I've been avoiding Kelsey's apartment as much as I can, but the truth is, I have nowhere else to go. Laura hasn't returned a single message, and the one time I tried to stop by the house, she threatened to call the police. The thing that hurts the most right now is my kids. I thought at least they'd be willing to sit down and hear me out, but it's been radio silence. I've sent emails, texts, even a letter. Nothing. I still think Laura and I could work this out if she'd just agree to talk to me. 20 years together can't just be erased because of a bad year and a half. It's not like I was living a double life. I still came home to her every night. I still showed up for family stuff. I've been in my head a lot lately, trying to think of ways to prove I'm serious about fixing things. Post 8, final update. After weeks of getting nowhere with Laura, I've had to face reality. She's not coming back. I still think it's a mistake. She's throwing away a solid marriage for something that wasn't even that serious, but she won't hear it. I'm still technically living with Kelsey. It's not what I want, but at least it's stable for now. She's talking about our future like it's a sure thing, which makes me uncomfortable, but she does have her own money coming in, and she's been picking up the slack since I lost my job. Yes, Laura's dad fired me. No, I don't think that's fair, considering my personal life shouldn't affect my employment. I don't feel like I'm with Kelsey in the romantic sense, but if staying here means I have a roof over my head and someone to help cover the legal costs from the divorce, then maybe that's just what I have to do for now. One day maybe Laura will come around and see that this was all blown out of proportion